Welcome back. Although Midco Sports Tonight will be taking a break for the next few months, one of our phenomenal original programming shows, Midco Mag, will continue on bringing you a new episode of 3 outstanding stories every month. So for more on what to expect through the summer for Mag, here's David Brown and the producer behind all of the magic, Josh Munce.
All right, well, thanks, Kelly. As she mentioned, here with Josh Munce, our award-winning producer on this award-winning show, Midco Sports Magazine. Now, the summertime, this is kind of the time where we have the ability to go out and gather a bunch of these different and unique features. But in general, what is your approach for finding these Midco Mag stories?
Well, we're always looking for something a little different, something stories that that are not only heartfelt but also interesting and things that you won't necessarily see at other places.
Absolutely, and I think you can't just define it into one thing. It's sort of like you know it when you see it that it's going to be interesting, something you want to follow up on. I know we've been on a lot of road trips together. You've been on a lot of road trips myself. A lot of memories, not just with the stories themselves, but of trying to get those stories. I know my favorite memory from our road trips, but what's one of your favorite memories?
Well, I know we don't have a long time, so I'll try to condense it down to at least one story. But, you know, we're on the road a lot, and the people that we meet are awesome, but every once in a while, a plan doesn't necessarily go the way you want it to. I was up in central North Dakota this last summer, following along a bike race through the Badlands of North Dakota. And there was no cell phone service. We were out there in the middle of nowhere, if you will. And I'm following along the bike race, getting ahead of them and jumping out of my car with equipment to get the bikes coming by, then jumping back in and going ahead. And at some point, I locked the vehicle. It was running. The race went by me. I was out there alone. I knew that I had driven 10 hours to get up to North Dakota to get this race, and if I didn't get the finish, the racer that I was following, him finishing, I don't know that it would have been such a great story. So I looked around, couldn't find a locksmith laying around on the ground. The next best thing is a big rock. So I dealt with that later on after I got into the car with the rock, put 2 and 2 together. But I got the end of the race, and it was a great story.
You take every measure necessary to get the story.
Every measure, yep.
And we were in Chicago a couple of years ago doing a story on Frank Leahy. He's a Winter, South Dakota native, former Notre Dame football coach. His grandson works in Chicago downtown, and so we set up an interview with him. We go there during the morning, and you and I just noticed so many people during the street, and we're wondering what in the world is going on. We were in the middle of the Chicago Blackhawks Stanley Cup parade down in Chicago, but what ironically helped is we were carrying equipment, so they let us pass on by and get through. It was actually easier than we thought it was going to be. So we've had a lot of fun doing Midco Sports Magazine, not just doing the stories, but actually the process of getting the stories. Every single month for Midco Sports Magazine, we try and have a theme. And for June, here's a quick little preview of what we have coming up on June 4th.
Big ideas this month on Midco Sports Magazine. Legends for Kids has become a huge annual event to bring youngsters and sports celebrities together to support local youth organizations. And one of those, Special Olympics South Dakota, is celebrating 50 years of inclusion and unity through sports programs. And a big idea in baseball, how a South Dakota man named Sam built a bat that would change the game in the major leagues. Big ideas this month on Midco Sports.
So as you saw, Big Ideas is the theme coming up next week on June 4th. So maybe expound a little bit about the Big Ideas theme and what these stories encompass.
You know, obviously big ideas can come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and Legends for Kids is a great event that brings together sports legends and kids, and we talk about the history of that. Special Olympics is celebrating its 50th year in South Dakota. If that wasn't a big idea at the very beginning of that, I don't know what is. And then Sam Holman, originally from Wessington Springs, South Dakota, moved up to Canada, and somebody had said, I wish there was a better bat that wouldn't splinter and break while our batters were hitting. And he decided to try the maple wood, and it's being used in all sorts of places, including Major League Baseball.
Very, very cool. Midco Sports Magazine, June 4th, 5:30 is the Big Ideas Show, but we'll continue bringing you the best stories from around the region, and this summer will be no different. Kelly, back to you.
Thanks so much, guys. Remember, you can catch Midco Mag every Monday at 5:30 p.m. and a new episode comes out the first Monday of each month. Coming up after the break, we'll send it up to Grand Forks. Alex Heiner has a recap of the North Dakota High School State Track meet from Bismarck over the weekend. Stay with us.